Yesterday I had the opportunity to cover a beautiful 19-mile adventure of sorts through Ithaca as part of the Finger Lakes Runners Club's COVID-19 Virtual Fund Run. The official event, which anybody can sign up for to support the Finger Lakes Running Club, runs from Monday, April 27th through Sunday, May 3rd. It's running on the 19 theme, either or walking, 1.9 miles or kilometers in one shot or throughout the week, or 19 miles in one shot or throughout the week. I chose with my effort to turn it into a community, well, I guess it was multifold. My intent was to turn it into a community fundraising event within the event, as well as to bring you all into some of the places, locations that have been important to me or in my daily life. And also in this time of us all being fairly isolated, to share a bit about me, which is not something that I often do. So as part of the circuit, I wanted to take you through some places that are important to me, some places that are part of my daily or weekly life, maybe what brought me to Ithaca, and some of the businesses that I really value and want to do my part to keep here. So I'm about to take you through that in this video. It's fairly long, but again, I wanted to make it, I guess, as personal as I could to an extent. So I hope if you've got the time, the energy to follow along in the adventure, there'll be a piece in it where you'll have the opportunity to learn about one of the ways that you can win one of the gift cards. So as part of this adventure, I purchased two gift cards at 6 restaurants or businesses locally that we'll raffle off as part of this project. And I'll mention that at the end of the video here. So if you don't make it through, you can catch up. But 2 of those you'll just have to find in the middle of the video. So yeah, thanks for being here. Here we go. All right, it is Saturday, April 25th. I am setting off on the start to my Finger Lakes Runners Club COVID-19 Virtual Fund Run. I decided to make my run inclusive of things that are important to me in Ithaca, and to try to pay it forward and keep some other maybe businesses highlighted and going that are important to me in the community. So we're just leaving our house here in downtown Ithaca. My family here is going to join me for the opening leg of the journey. And so I'm looking forward. It's a beautiful day, and I guess I'm just going to share a bit about me on this video and how it relates to Ithaca. So we chose to live in downtown Ithaca. Here we're just up from the Commons on Hudson Street because I think in a way Ithaca offers a really wonderful opportunity to be surrounded by amazing resources and businesses all really close. So we live next to the South Hill Recway, which we're about to pass here on the right. It's got probably upwards of maybe 8 miles of trails in there, which is right out the back door. We're about a half mile from the Commons, pretty close to Ithaca College, so there's a lot to offer. So that's why we chose to live where we do. And yeah, let's get it started. So passing through just at the bottom hill here, Ithaca Commons, central to downtown Ithaca, where our shop was located for a little over 10 years. We moved off to the Purity Ice Cream building about a year ago. Restaurant row in downtown Ithaca. Restaurants, one of those businesses that are taking a big hit right now. So pretty tough place at the moment. But otherwise, downtown, pretty vibrant downtown. A lot of investment, a lot of good energy, a lot of building. So yeah, it's great downtown, great place to live. And hopefully we'll make a collective comeback here. Keep it going. Passing by here, Cascadilla Falls and Gorge. It was the hope to run up the trail as part of the route, but it's still not open yet. It's a really beautiful gorge that connects downtown Ithaca to College Town, maintained by the Cornell Plantations. It's really a gem tucked into downtown Ithaca. For any who may visit and haven't gone up and down Cascadilla Gorge, definitely do that. So then it's gonna instead take you up probably my favorite road in Ithaca, which is Cascadilla Park Road. Reminds me more of what I guess San Francisco would be, where it's just tight, windy, beautiful homes and a steep street. Early years, at least one of the variations, we ran the Ithaca half marathon coming down it, but it's just a really pretty street. So that's what we're using for part of the course here this morning. So the view of Cascadilla Gorge, which we're paralleling, I'm not sure whether in the video you'll be able to see some of the entry falls coming down the fairly tight gorge. It's really reflective of, I think, Ithaca's signature topography, which is the gorges and the waterfalls. It really is a beautiful place, and it's really, I think, why I feel so at peace in Ithaca. So yeah, here's some gorges and falls. Thank you. Carriage house scones, one of my favorite things in Ithaca. Delicious, I think usually just on weekends. Carriage house has been a wonderful place for myself and family to come. One of the things that we always like doing in the inside since the girls were little was a I Spy game. There's pretty awesome things all over inside of the carriage house that really passed the time, and I think made it a place to come back to with them. It's a place that we could walk up to from our house, source local, friends who are the owners, classmates in school, and just a really wonderful establishment. Like many, having a pretty tough go of it right now, and the conditions, they're pretty established. We'll see what happens here. But these scones, get them while you can. Right now, they are, like most, just doing orders for pickup. Scones aren't on the regular menu, but they do have them frozen, so you can call ahead, take some scones home. That's what we had to do this morning. Bought them, heated them up, eating them in front of the carriage house right now. So carriage house, also one of the first businesses that we're highlighting today and supporting. I bought two $50 gift cards that we'll use to raffle off as part of this for all those who sign up to do the FLRC COVID Fund Run as well. If you can, Bob Congdon just drove by, one of the earlier members of the Finger Lakes Runners Club. So very fitting that he would just drive by. So if you can, stop out, support the carriage house, get some scones, get something else. And thanks carriage house for hanging in there. So just finished off a scone at the carriage house, and gonna head up through Cornell at the moment on our way to our next stop, passing over the upper Cascadilla Gorge, and I'll bring you back into the next site on the way. And separated from the family as well, so we'll be solo from here. So we're up here on the Stewart Ave Bridge, overlooking Ithaca Falls and Ithaca High School and Cayuga Lake in the distance, which you probably can't really see in the video. Ithaca Falls, I think some of the highest volume water of the falls in Ithaca. Originally powered businesses such as Ithaca Gun Factory, which is down below. Also led to a long-term ecological contamination. So I guess the flip side to various pieces of history. Ithaca Falls I loved coming to here when I was in college. Even though you're not allowed to swim, we still swam and jumped from the falls at the bottom. Not saying you should all do that, but just a piece of my history, and which also really connected me with Ithaca. So a really beautiful, just beautiful spot. Piece of history right next to the top of the falls. It's an old masonry block style building. One of the homes, I believe, of Ithaca's Carl Sagan before he passed. I think still owned by the family. For any of you who think that maybe the Sagan family wants to sell that rather than letting it fall in disrepair, let me know. I think it's a pretty amazing spot and part of the world. So Ithaca Falls, we're going to keep running up through Cornell and across the suspension footbridge here in just a second. And I guess one of the also wonderful pieces of Ithaca is just how many trails and footpaths serpentine and connect various parts of town. So this is one of those paths that traces us up across footbridge and toward BB Lake. So onward. So about to drop down into circle around BB Lake on Cornell's campus. If I'm remembering my history okay, one of the earlier projects by Ezra Cornell on his either company or family, but a really beautiful spot for a day hike, to work into a run. Beautiful location. So the stone arch bridge at the head of BB Lake, where the creek comes in, right around the bend in the creek right in front of us, there's several cascades. Another place that in college spent a good amount of time swimming and jumping and climbing in the falls. That's illegal or not permitted, not safe, but just telling you a bit about where I'm, I guess, coming from in Ithaca. A really beautiful area. Take some time to just walk up to where the falls come over. A really pretty spot, and just take a minute. So just came off of BB Lake, and we're cruising across the main quad of Cornell University's campus. On any other given time, it would be a bit more crowded with students. Energy, life. Right now, pretty quiet. A couple students, a couple families just spending time outside. I'm really inspired by the collegiate architecture, the stone, the brick. It has somewhat of a timelessness to it, and I've always just found it really inspiring. About to come up on one of the scenic and meaningful spots for me, which is the Cornell Clock Tower. From our house, which is right across the gorge, we can hear the clock tower chime. The bells rung by people up in the tower. I think not just all mechanical. And I guess it reminds me every time I hear them from our house of just sense of place and of that inspiration, knowing that with each chime of those bells, there's a crew of some of the smartest people in the world here shuffling back and forth, hopefully figuring some really amazing and needed things out. So yeah, I'm inspired by this place. Onward we go. So here we are, the next stop in the circuit and restaurant. We're at the Coalyard Cafe here. Legendary Eric Samblick just happens to be pulling out. Looks like maybe he should probably join me for some miles. My parents are here as well. Another just wonderful local small restaurant. Wonderful business owners, history to the location, and no doubt probably having a really tough time right now. So I'm gonna stop here, get a breakfast burrito as the second stop. Also two $50 gift cards, and then we'll keep going on the circuit. Samblick, how you doing?
Good. I think I owe you some money.
Maybe. So Coalyard is open for call ahead and pickup in the window here. So if you're not already familiar, check out the Coalyard Cafe. Come support this wonderful local business and do some carry out, just like it looks like maybe Sambo just did. All right, so I'm going to touch base with my parents and then maybe weigh in on how that ties into the current COVID situation and the reality. All right, so just leaving the Coalyard Cafe, about 5.5 miles into the circuit. Just had a moment, my mom and dad, who live here locally as well, joined me, and it's tough. Since this whole thing really started, I haven't really been able to see my dad at all. In his low 80s, definitely immunocompromised, kidneys not in good shape. Chances are if he did contract this virus, that he's one that is that vulnerable population that he may not make it. There's a good chance that he might not. But he's also somebody that thrives on connecting with people, and he's not a digital person. He was doing several exercise classes for the socialization as well as the opportunity to just get out prior. And because of this, he can't do it. So then for a lot of that population, they end up going downhill as a result of the situation and not having the virus. For him, it's more stuck inside, can't connect. It's depressing, and their systems start tanking from there. So it's a kind of a no-win situation. And then, you know, you're not able to see your family for that amount of time and some critical time that's left. I don't know what's worse. I think it was the first time, maybe second time. Actually, I got to see him in Easter from a bit of a distance to actually talk to him. And so I really value that moment. But it's definitely hard. And to still not know that it gets better. And you know what that answer is? It sucks. So, came in out of Bell Sherman neighborhood after Coalyard Cafe in the access road to 6 Mile Creek and dropping down into Second Dam right here.
Really another beautiful spot. One that's significantly changed since I was a student here. When I was a student here, it'd be a busy day if it were just a handful of us as either students or locals here. Swimming, jumping, again an area where swimming, jumping is not legal. Every few years, unfortunately, somebody dies in these spots. Most recently, a few years ago, jumping here, deep, fairly deep cold water. Body can occasionally just shut down and the individual drowns. So a really morbid side to this beautiful place. Definitely a quandary for the city to try to keep people out of here, but whereas it used to be, again, fairly quiet, I guess videos just like this jump up on YouTube, and before you know it, it's out there and people are coming from everywhere to descend on these areas. Actually, one of the ones recently that I just mentioned, the cross memorializing that individual. So unfortunate. But the difference now that an area like this is really blown up relatively, actually not even relatively, and living just across the other side of the gorge from this spot and running back here regularly, it's crazy. Might as well be like a Division I football game over here with the amount of youth pretty much that this gets. It gets overrun, littered with garbage, and more people doing, I guess, stupid things. So it's a pretty tough equation, not really an easy answer. But from as far back as my memories in Ithaca and running, I've been running back here, so it's a pretty special place to me. So I definitely wanted to bring you through here and along these trails. So we'll keep running it out here. We're now in the trails on the opposite side of the creek, in 6 Mile Creek Wildflower and Preserve area. Now in the trails that are pretty literally in my backyard here, which I'm very, very thankful for. Also, just to the amazing on what I guess Ithaca has to offer on a local scale. Within a half a mile here walk of a lot of homes, and one of, I would guess, the more beautiful city watershed areas. Definitely need some help in terms of development plan, conservation plan, all of it, to maybe make it a bit more sustainable. The heavier storms with climate impact more people using them. The forests and sections decimated or altered by an overabundance of the deer population, and invasives really have been hitting this area hard. So it could definitely use a plan and some love. Obviously that takes time and resources and political will, and this isn't necessarily high up on the list of necessities, but area that I'm thankful for, very meaningful to me, because I'm back on these trails I don't know, 4 or 5 days a week. Really awesome resource. All right. So crossing through one of the portions of the South Hill Recway, lower portion that runs between Hudson Street and the upper portion that it merges with between Coddington and Burns Road. Also one of those in city and town resources that's just awesome. This is my house, sits right next to the entryway on Hudson, so we're back here regularly. Wonderful resource year-round. Yeah, it's good that I just shift into a walk here. The whole COVID scheduling has definitely cut hard in any opportunities to work out. My fitness is for sure going down week over week. It's pretty ridiculous, but I don't know where it goes, but I'm thankful to be out here on a beautiful day. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna cross off the top of the Recway and then cut through a back service road into Ithaca College, and cut through Ithaca College, and I'll check back in there. All right.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I just happened to be driving. You found me behind the wheel in the woods with this old car, and I thought I'd just maybe drive a part of the COVID-19 fund run. Is that legal? I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna assume that this is okay. We're gonna cover a few miles this way. And for all of you out there who claim to be locals and don't know where this car is and I'm driving, that'll be your challenge for the COVID period, is to get out here and also film yourself driving this car. And I want you to plug it on the Finger Lakes Running Company and Running Club's Facebook sites. You driving this car. And maybe we'll do some sort of, actually I just made up my mind. For maybe 2 of the raffles for the restaurant gift cards, and this is going to come from people who get to this car and take a picture of themselves driving, or better yet, a video of them driving, and us catching you in the act. So yeah, make it happen.
So we're here on the Ithaca College Campus Center, our quad. See, what time is it? I don't even know if that clock's working, but actually maybe it is. 12:10. 12:10. Ithaca College, founded in 1892. This is why I'm here. It's what brought me to Ithaca. It's Ithaca College. I did my undergraduate and graduate work in occupational therapy. That was my initial career track and certification before I made the decision to choose the road a little less traveled. Moved back to Ithaca from where I was living in Central Oregon to start the Finger Lakes Running Company. Moved back in 2005, opened in May of 2006. Yeah, and it's just I guess the butterfly effects or ripples in life, I guess, of that decision. I'm thankful that the shop's been able to touch a lot of people along the way. The race company, I have several friends or acquaintances or know of several people who maybe met at the races, ended up getting married. It's pretty awesome, I guess, the way things interweave. But here we are, pretty empty, desolate campus. Should also be teeming with students relatively, maybe just waking up at this point. But instead, nobody, no energy, no life, really depressing. Ithaca College will make it through, but expected to take pretty dramatic losses as well. Cornell, even more, just based on proportional or numbers. It's crazy. The economic impacts and ripples, the real trickle down economics coming our way is still that large unknown. One of the things that I spent a little bit of time with, because it was just really of interest to me, but also because it could make such a sea change of difference in so many areas and would be more than applicable right now, is looking into fiscal and monetary policy. And I only bring it up right now in this fund run video just because where we are and seeing our politicians just do their political games and shuffle and the grossness of all that is, when really we in our communities and our economy needs very real help. And there's no shortage of fiscal dollars to make it happen. That's kind of the illusion that there is. The debt is not like household or state debt. The federal government could authorize whatever is needed to get us all through this time without the real impacts that we're about to experience and already experiencing. So if you're interested in that, and I won't dig in too much, I know that's not why you're tuning in here, but look a little bit into modern monetary theory, Keynesian economics. I know not all of you are on board with that, but as much as I can tell, it's really just the way that it works. And we could for sure use that understanding now to get us all through and out the other side of this. So Ithaca College, thank you for bringing me here. My thoughts are with you in getting through this as well. Thanks. So we're gonna head to our next business stop here in just a mile or two. So I'm gonna go ahead and call in that order and get back to running. And as I'm about to pass off of Ithaca College's campus, it's the Circle Apartments. Wasn't technically Ithaca College when I was a student, but as I ran by the fields where we do our cross-country alumni meet, I was reminded of the interweaving of now. When I came to Ithaca College, I was not planning on running. Wasn't planning on running after high school. And at the campus visit, there was, who went on to become a teammate and a friend, Mike Pulowski, I believe, if my memory serves me right, came and talked to the all of us who were there visiting for that weekend. And I think he had just plugged the cross-country team, and I don't know, I started waffling in that moment, and still wasn't totally planning on it, but I think they were doing a group run that next morning. We were staying in the towers, I think, and I looked down and saw them getting together to run that morning, And inside of me said, I can't miss this. I gotta run. So I joined her for a run that morning, and that was that. And really, running went on to shape a lot of my life since then, through the experiences of running, racing, places it's taken me, people I've met. It's put food on the table, colors my daughter's lives. My wife, Sherry, ran for Ithaca College as well. We met through the team. I don't think that would have happened. So Mike Pulowski, for your decision to run, for your decision to come and talk to us that day. Basically, I have you to thank for the existence of my 3 daughters and my life trajectory. That's a whole lot of weight on you. But it also comes together in this moment because in this time a month ago, when we had to shut the store down and let all of you know, and so many people came out to support us, you were one of those in buying a gift card. That's really meaningful. Well, it meant a lot to me. It still does. So you probably never knew how woven you are into my life and experience and that of my family and this community, but now you know. So I'm grateful for you, buddy, and for your support, and I hope this finds you well and staying safe as you fight fires up in New Hampshire. All right, man, see ya. So we are at the this brings us to our 3rd stop, Dolce Delight. For those of you who don't know, it's a wonderful restaurant at the up above Ithaca College, crossroads of 96 and King. It's awesome. Wonderful baked goods, wonderful sandwiches. So I'm gonna stop here, pick up a Dolce special. They happen to be out of the awesome biscuits this morning, so we're getting it on a croissant. But we're gonna get this to go and very much enjoy. And we'll also get 2 $50 gift cards here, and we'll come up maybe a creative way to put them to use. So yeah, get it to go if you can the next couple weeks. Get yourself in a drawing for some gift cards, and let's keep this community going and Dolce Delight at this intersection and thriving. All right. Oh, hey, didn't see you there again. Dolce special. Out of biscuits, went with a croissant. It's pretty outstanding. Ham, egg, some, I think, pepper jelly of some sort in there. Croissant, an excellent backup. Pretty delicious. Especially smack dab in the middle of a 19-mile run, or in this case, walk run. Highly recommended as a way to split up every one of your runs. So, stop in, mid-run, Dolce special, get it. Yeah. Passing through the back entrance of La Tourelle. Pretty awesome local independent hotel. Really neat inside, really beautiful rooms, good steakhouse, has a spa. But one of the things right off the trail here is the firelight camps. They're not quite set up yet for the season. So it's tough to see in the pictures or in the camera angle here though. But it's glamping. It's basically platforms. They set up a heavy tent over, and it's somewhat outdoor lodging or glamour camping as a pretty awesome opportunity. I've got some outdoor bocce pits, I think a bar, maybe some food, but really cool resource. So for those of you who are looking for a cool little bit different lodging experience in Ithaca, definitely check out La Tourelle, and specifically the firelight camps in back. Really good opportunity for the whole family. And with the trail that I'm running on, feeds right into the trails to Buttermilk Falls, Upper Buttermilk Falls State Park. Check it out. Cool, long-standing business and local owners. Yeah. So right now we're circling around Lake Tremont and Upper Buttermilk Falls State Park. About to cross over first bridge right here, followed by a second. On the Finger Lakes Trail, and just taking an opportunity to express my appreciation for all of the individuals and entities who make the Finger Lakes Trail possible, from landowners to the Trail Conference volunteers and members. Such an amazing resource. And then also specifically to Zach Ballard. He works for the state parks. He's done a lot of this trail building and maintenance the past couple years since he's been on. And a couple bridges that we just passed over. Us as a group of trail runners, including mostly probably members of the Finger Lakes Runners Club, pitched in over 2 days to just put those two small bridges in on this section of the Finger Lakes Trail. I definitely want to acknowledge that I use these resources much more than I give back. And so I'm thankful, and I definitely have to get some more time in here helping with these projects. So if you think you might want to be a part of that, for sure reach out to me. I'll continue to connect with Zach and the staff, all the employees and managers here in Buttermilk and Tremont have always been wonderful. At the moment, James Brophy doing a lot of great things in the park, who took over from James or Jim Dunn. Both just really wonderful individuals. I've had experience in other parks and places where the parks just aren't that necessarily welcoming, particularly to runners or events. And these individuals have just been the opposite, have done what they can to make sure that we have access to the parks and using them as they're intended, and also that we do it responsibly. And so to the parks crews out here, I'm wicked grateful for who you are and all the work you're doing. So we're gonna keep running it. So we're dropping down now into lower Buttermilk. There was a number of people out enjoying the day on the rim trail as you drop down. I shot out to the Burma Road here, which parallels the rim trail. Definitely opportunities out here for those who want to get out and are still a bit worried about having other people around on the trails. Just have to maybe venture off of the main ones just a little bit. Burma Road, actually probably like just as much as the rim trail. It's also on the Finger Lakes Running Club's Tortoise and Hare course. That's been canceled for this year, but typically runs around the first weekend in June. Pretty awesome race, about 6.5 miles, give or take, and starts with a flat mile, and then has a steep climb to loop around where I just took it in Upper Buttermilk, and then flies back down with a pretty blistering last mile or so. Awesome trail run. For those of you who haven't checked it out yet, look for it in 2021. And thanks to Finger Lakes Runners Club for putting it on for so many years. Merging back with the rim trail. So the base of Buttermilk Falls, the namesake for the park. Typically the Trails Rock aid station for the Cayuga Trails 50s. It's been a pretty amazing partnership. There should have been here on May 30th, an awesome little snow cone booth set up, feeding runners mid-race. Definitely has become a highlight. Really beautiful just fall. Water's still up a little bit. It'll start to go down here pretty soon, but a really beautiful location. Still a good number of people out and about here on the main trails and park. But also still not what I've seen from other larger areas, maybe closer to the city, where it's really jammed at the moment. I'm really thankful that we still have a lot of opportunity to get some space between us and really enjoy the outdoors. So Buttermilk Falls is beautiful. We're gonna start heading into town from here via a little floodway and railroad bed to take us back into the city. And that'll take us into our next restaurant location. All right, onward we go. So we dropped out of Lower Buttermilk, crossed over to the flood control channel, past the fish ladders there, and now we're running along the Cayuga Inlet. Pretty nice resource and area that maybe not many people think about. I believe the extension of the waterfront trail should be coming through here with a bridge in front of us at some point. I think the funding came through. So this will be the connection from the waterfront through to Buttermilk. Then eventually the trail will continue from Buttermilk over through Morse Chain and then over to the South Hill Recway. Pretty awesome networking connection, and really just pretty along the inlet here. The crew races come to right up here, so it would be nicer if, I guess, life were still as it was and maybe there be some crew teams out here practicing as I was filming, but it's where we're at. So here we are, headed into town. So just passing in front of Island Health and Fitness and Cayuga Med facility right here with the obstacles and Bordoni Challenge stuff right out in front. There's, I guess, connections which I'm thankful for all over. Here specifically with Bordoni, to the Bordoni family, and specifically Liz, as somebody who supported the shop all these years, to the crew here at Island Health with Kelly and many of the other trainers opting to allow us to get them their shoes over the years. I'm thankful to the medical crew inside of Island Health and Cayuga Med. From outpatient physical therapy, from Brian and Sarah and Rob and Andy. Thank you so much for your support over the years. To upstairs, to Dr. Getson, thanks so much for your family support over the years as well. So places all over which I'm thankful for. I'm gonna cruise out here and circle around the Boatyard Grill, which I think is closed at the moment. But one of the owners there with the Steve Flash and family, thank you to you as well, and we'll pass by the Boatyard proper. Yeah, you've supported us all these years as well. So many shout outs and people I'm thankful for, I guess, everywhere I go here. So a really wonderful community, and yeah, so thanks. So just coming up to the next business that really just want to send a thank you and a shout out and to give it a little bit of love back to at the moment. With Ithaca Bakery, with also connected to the College Town Bagels. About to get a to-go. This is a fairly weekly thing for me, so definitely want to be sure that I do my part to keep Ithaca Bakery in the equation here. My go-to is a Sweet Rachel sandwich, and also getting 2 $50 gift cards that will also raffle off as part of this COVID project. So thank you to personally to Gregor for all your support of the shop, my events, Finger Lakes running club events over the year. We really appreciate your community mindedness. Yeah, and hopefully you hang in there as well. Thanks for your support. All right, in the closing mile here, right across the street from Ithaca Bakery, I'm gonna grab some lunch to go for myself and family. Actually, it might end up being dinner from Tamarind. For many people, Tamarind may not necessarily be on their radar, but I think it's absolutely delicious. If you get a chance, check it out. I'm gonna get, for me, one of my favorites is a duck curry. So I'm gonna get that to go. Some food for my family, and then also 2 $50 gift cards here as well. So for a couple of you out there, we'll come up with something to maybe creative or just as a part of doing the event and raffle it off. So definitely keep Tamarind on your radar. It's definitely a restaurant that I like to see stay here. Also, since we're right next door, is Blackbird Yoga Studio. Big thanks to them as well, whether members or owner, supporting the shop as well here in a COVID situation, picking up a pair of shoes, doing yoga from their house at present. So as we get back up and running, definitely check out Blackbird for yoga. And if you need an option right now for doing it at home, check out their Zoom yoga sessions. All right, let's get some food. Oh, hey, you keep sneaking up on me. Well, I'm just here, just eating an ice cream sandwich from Purity. Have you had one of their ice cream sandwiches before? Delicious Purity ice cream, conveniently smashed in between these 2 delicious cookies. It's absolutely delicious. Isn't that what was supposed to be part of the challenge? You know, hanging out eating ice cream sandwiches? Pretty sure it was. So, the run worked well. Finished just over 19 miles. Finishing at the Purity Ice Cream and the Finger Lakes Running Company. We're under one roof. And I wanted to give a big shout out to Purity. Heather and Bruce are wonderful people, community members, and it's been very convenient to be under the same roof of Purity Ice Cream. I probably and that was actually Heather passing right there. Heather, thank you very much for this ice cream sandwich in my hand. It's delicious. That's a small world occurrence right there. But what I didn't know was how good Purity lunches were. So if you haven't had Purity lunches before, they're pretty outstanding. Probably the best sweet potato fries in town. So definitely put that on your radar. They're currently doing pickup or takeout Monday through Friday, I believe, with a limited menu. They could definitely use your support right now, being closed for ice cream. Definitely an Ithaca staple. Yeah, they could really use our support. I don't know what we'd do without Purity. So, in addition to ice cream sandwich, also gonna buy 2 $50 gift cards for Purity. We're gonna raffle it off in this mix and come up with something creative. But really just a thank you to Purity. Thank you for making it happen. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being wonderful community partners. And so after this, we'll also have the promotion where get Purity takeout and then get 10% off your store purchase, which should more than cover your Purity takeout. So it was a beautiful day to be out here, a beautiful day to give thanks to the community. I'm thankful for this event, and let's keep it circulating. So thanks to all of you for your support for the event, whether just tuning in now, whether you participated on your own, whether you shared it in your communities, whether you're able to make it through that full-length adventure, or whether you're just tuning in here at the end. Thank you. So as I mentioned, we'll, as part of this event, which kicks off Monday the 27th, for all of you who participate or sign up to be a part of the event, you'll get entered into a random raffle for the gift cards that we purchased, as well as that the Finger Lakes Runners Club, I believe, is going to purchase from the shop. 2 of the gift cards specifically will come from that moment in the middle of my video there. For those that tuned in, were able to catch it for that category. Maybe a handful will raffle into a pool who are able to similarly share a bit about them or their adventure, or maybe why they ran what they did, or maybe about some community member or business or place that's important to them. I think we could all use some personal connection right now. So share that with us, whether it be plugging in one of our Facebook posts or just sending us the video clip in an email, and we'll get it uploaded and posted. I think, whereas that may not be comfortable for everybody, I think that sharing and connection is pretty important right now. And then maybe a handful of the others we'll just randomly raffle off. And then, as I mentioned, for the incentive to try to help the businesses further. So for the businesses I included in this, from the Carriage House, the Coal Yard Cafe, to Dolce Delight, to Ithaca Bakery or College Town Bagels, to Tamarind, to Purity, I really want to encourage you all, if you can, to find a time to maybe get a carry-out order from those restaurants to help them out in this time, or purchase a gift card as well. For any of those purchases, just hang on or share the clip with us of the receipt or the gift card, and we'll give you 10% off of your store purchase through June. And that can be just a purchase as a whole, as opposed to just a singular item. My hope is that will offset your carry-out order and more incentive to get that done, and really help us circulate the funds further. So thanks for tuning in through this huge, again, thanks to Pete and the Finger Lakes Runners Club for doing this at all, for Trails Rock and Scott Parr for the inspiration to get this going, to support our local shops, and again, to all of you who have made this an event at all, and for your support. I still don't know where this goes. A lot of us don't. A lot of hard times ahead, still no doubt. We'll stay in here and hang in as long as we can. We'll try to evolve, adapt, and modify as much as we can. And my hope is that together we'll make it through this together. Thanks again. See you out on the roads or trails or in the shop soon. See ya.